Hi, we are now basically at break even, back to break even. The last 2 weeks have been kind of wild. I've been very close to blowing up the account, maybe a few tens of dollars. And so let's get into it and review the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I wasn't around to properly review them week by week, but there's no problem. We'll just do 2-in-1 video. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the reviews. Obviously, we will start with week 6, which was 2 weeks ago. It was from the 2nd of June until I think it was 6th of June. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Let's see what exactly happened. So unfortunately, it was a minus 7.3% week. It was pretty bad. I think that I have probably taken a bit too much exposure numerous times. So let's see what exactly happened. Okay, so first trade on week 6 was actually on a Tuesday, so that means not the 2nd but the 3rd. So let's see exactly where we are with this trade. It was at 16.58. Let's get the brush out, just how we used to do it before. So it was around 105.4k. Okay, let's see. So the idea here was that I was gonna short the market. Let's see where it was exactly. It was around here, so I should hit the market around here, because I thought at this point that we will see a bit more movement to the downside, because we really didn't see much going on right here. We didn't see a push through. At the same time, we kind of went out of the weekend price action high, and I expected us to take the weekend price action low easily. It was sitting around 103k, which didn't happen. Unfortunately, the stop loss was around here, and so I lost the trade. It is what it is. It's a lost trade, not much to do around that one. Then I switched to shorting. I started shorting around here once more, because I thought at this point that it's just a fake out, which did happen after all. But I have also had a compound at around 105.6k, so it was about here, I think. Yeah, so the compound was around here back then. Unfortunately, what I did is I closed this trade at break even, because it was going into the overnight session, so I just closed it. What I did on week 6 and 7 is I kept trades for a bit longer, because I wanted them to actually hit the invalidation. I wanted to change it a bit, to change around the fact that I'm closing trades a bit too early, but this one I closed early, unfortunately. Maybe I should have closed early other trades that I did not do, but nevertheless, there was a lot to be learned, and that's why we're here. So let's go for Wednesday. On Wednesday at 5 p.m. So Wednesday at 5 p.m. we had a trade from this week, which was pretty good actually, at 104.5k. So it was around here. So this was a long trade actually. Longs have paid fine these days, but this drop here kind of got me really in a bad position, because then I went on to compound this trade at around this hour here. Unfortunately, I just didn't close the trade, right? So what I did at this point is on the next day I took another long position at 105k, so I would say it was around here, right? 105k. Let me see, where would have this been? Oh, so it was around here. So I took another position of compound on the one from Wednesday, and I didn't take any profits here, because at this point I said, okay, if we go with this much power right on before the New York session, we might just see continuation, which unfortunately didn't really happen. Well, my invalidation was around 103k, and the bad part here is that I had a pretty big position. I also had some position on Solana, so I lost a lot. I lost like 3.5%. This was pretty bad. Obviously, I could have just put the stops at break even or just take some profit around here at 105.8k, but I just didn't thought at this point that it would go this much lower. Obviously, this was fueled hard by the Trump and Elon Musk issues that happened that week, but that's no excuse. One thing to keep in mind is that with this trade here, we actually took the low from 100.7k, which means basically that the low from 12th of May was taken. Okay, so let's go back to where we are right now. Okay, so that trade was lost. Then we had another trade on Friday, which at this point I thought that since we have seen such a big move to the downside, we would just continue to the downside a bit more. So I shorted here. I thought that if we take overnight high on Friday, we would go for the overnight low, which unfortunately didn't happen again. Yeah, so this was a short here, and then the valuation was around 106k. So valuation was 106k, which I eventually lost on Monday the following day, right? No, it was, yeah, it was the Monday on the following day, so it was around here where I lost the trade. Deservedly so. I could have closed it earlier, but I just wanted it to go to the invalidation. So that was another day with minus 3.3%. So obviously week 6 was pretty bad, minus 7.3%. Now let's go to week 7 and we will see what we have learned from these weeks at the end of the video. So week 7 started with a long trade actually. Started with a long trade it started with a short trade, 108.5k. It was a 0.75 ratio here, if I'm not completely wrong. So basically what I did here was I put a 4-hour, and I have seen that we have taken the lows, and I thought at this point that we can probably see something like this, right? I thought we could see something like this, where we can hit this 0.77 and go lower. Well, we went higher, we went for another lower high. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I did keep the trade in because I actually wanted this 111k to be the invalidation. So what I did is I shorted around here. After shorting around here, I kept the trade for Tuesday. I didn't take any trades. Wednesday I didn't take any trades. So this PI didn't trade because I was already in a short. I was just expecting either to get closed on to either get thrown out of the trade or continue forward with going down. But at this point I was very close to actually blowing up the account, but I said, okay, this is my validation, I will just respect the plan. If I blow up, I blow up. It is what it is. And I think this is a very important task and the thing for me to keep in mind, that I should just follow my plan, and I shouldn't just back down from anything else. But then I compounded the trade at on Thursday at 107.3k, expecting to go lower. So it was on Thursday at 13.15, so it was something around here, breaking from the overnight low. So this was a compound from Monday. Then I think I closed the trade at plus 100, which means probably I'm not exactly sure where I closed the trade. I have to check. Okay, so it was 106.5k. I actually closed the trade around, let's close this. So I closed the trade around here. I closed the trade around here, so that's fine enough. Okay, I don't mind that too much. Actually, wait. Yes, it was like this, 23.15. So it was around here actually. Yeah, so I closed the trade around here. I could have obviously kept it for a bit longer, but I just didn't want to take the risk again. I mean, we could have seen that we can literally make another market structure push to the upside, especially since we have some weak highs here, weak highs at the all-time high. So I'm expecting a move to the upside eventually, to be honest. Then on Friday I took 2 trades, one for Ethereum, one for Bitcoin. These were long trades. at 103.6k. I did it during the night because I actually expected a drop. I didn't want to go overnight with this trade because it was pretty big, and I kind of want to either take profit or go to break even. So at this point I said, okay, if I actually go to this was the weekend price action here, right? And this was kind of the low of the weekend price action. So I said, okay, we go to 103.6k. I will just take a trade overnight. I put some limit orders, right? So around 330. So this was the trade here. This was a long trade, and on Ethereum I started taking smaller positions. It was 0.5 Ethereum and not 1 anymore. Okay, so that kind of helped me a lot. This was a big winning trade, but I closed it on 16th, so yesterday, right? So I closed it yesterday at around 108.6k, right? So I closed it around here. So this was a very good and big trade for me. I didn't have any any compounds on this one, but it's still fine. I could have taken a compound here, but I wanted it to be in the New York session and go a bit lower to test the weekend price action high from last weekend, but that's not a problem. Okay, so where are we today? Well, today we're basically at break even, as we said, and I want us to check the Excel and see how it looks and what we can learn from the former weeks. Okay, so this is the Excel for this these 2 weeks. Obviously the one for minus 7.3% was pretty big. It was also the bad thing that I took too many trades on Solana. 20 is a pretty big number here that I don't really like. Then another one that was lost on Solana, and then we had some Ethereums that, well, basically Ethereum was the only one that won that week. So you also have the week 7 ones, which I took a bit on a slower pace. I didn't take that many trades, right? I compounded the trade that was short and I didn't go out of the trade, and then I had 2 trades that I kind of kept for a bigger amount of time. Okay, so let's go to the learnings, and let's just type week 6 plus week 7, right? And then let's see what we can learn for the next week. So what I did good this week is keeping trades until invalidation. This was good. I need to lower sizes, lower size mostly on altcoins, take less trades. I mean, I can say I took less trades, especially on week 7, which was good for my mental, right? And manage risk more efficiently. Can keep trades for overnight ranges. Try to put stop loss to scratch trades, the risk. If the trade was compounded. So basically these are the 5 things that I should focus on and that I'm focusing on right now. And yeah, pretty much we're looking pretty good. Unfortunately, it was a big losing week on week 6, but we pretty much bounced back from it. I'm doing my best to keep the mental up, to keep the consistency, and let's see where we can go with the next weeks. And so thank you for joining the video. Unfortunately it was a 2-in-1 video. I hope I can do it weekly once again, and I appreciate you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.